From toxic tampons to weight loss pills and aesthetic morning routines, wellness trends are everywhere these days, but not all of them are actually helping women. In this episode, I'm taking a closer look at 3 popular trends women are being sold and asking the hard question. Are they supporting our health or just selling shame in a prettier package? I'm Carrie Lupoli, nutritionist, award-winning behavior specialist, and unapologetic disruptor of diet culture. If you've spent decades dieting and still don't have the results you want, it's not your fault. You've just never been shown how to fuel your body with love and science. This podcast is where all that changes and we rewrite the rules, where food becomes simple, freedom is possible, and real lasting results finally begin. Let's dive in. So what's going on here? Are we really getting healthier, or are we just getting more obsessed with people thinking they should just control all the things about our bodies? In this episode, we are going to unpack wellness because we use that word a lot. What does it actually mean? Wellness sounds empowering, but it may actually be harmful. We're going to unpack 3 wellness trends that I've been seeing lately. One is, did you know that the GLP-1, the shot that people are taking, it's now available as a pill? We're going to break that down. Also, keto is getting a whole new rebrand. Genius marketing technique, or is it the same old? And we've got our clean girl wellness culture. And I'll be honest, this one didn't hit me right away as what it really was. And the more and more I started seeing it, the more I was like, what? And so we're going to break those 3 down. And you know what? I will talk a little bit about tampons and whether or not they're toxic. Is that just another lie we're being told? Or is it true? Okay, we're going to start with the GLP-1 pill that has recently been approved by the FDA. And here's what I think. Just because it's been approved by the FDA does not necessarily mean we should all be go running and doing it now. Because that is where the big fallacy is. This is about an approval like that is like, it's safe, like, it's not going to kill you right now, but we don't have the long-term understanding of that. And I will argue all day long. I did a whole episode on weight loss drugs back a little while ago. I think it's episode 179. So go back and check on that in terms of my opinion on weight loss drugs. And the fact that it's moving to a pill, I actually just saw it recently and I thought, oh my gosh, here we go. Because let's be honest, a lot of people are like, I don't really want to inject myself. There feels something like, it just feels icky. It feels wrong. And so the geniuses, right now it's Novo Nordisk, has come up with a pill. It's called Rybelsus. And there are people that will argue these GLP-1s, they've been around for a long time. They get a bad rap, I am told, by some advocates of them. And it's not to say that I'm fully against all of it. That's not my point. I think for the majority of people that go on it, for the reasons that they go on it, is a problem. And I also think that we are a community, a society, a culture of a quick fix. And it wasn't what got us into this mess. It was lifestyle that got us into this mess. And it is only going to be lifestyle that gets us out of this mess. But I hear all the time, well, the GLP-1 is actually a peptide. And then that word gets thrown around a ton. I feel like the word peptide is a little bit like the word gluten. People are like, I'm gluten-free. And then you ask people, what's gluten? And they're like, I don't really know. And I think that's what happens with the peptide word. Well, it's a peptide. It's not a drug. If we can call alcohol a drug and caffeine a drug, then we sure as heck are going to call Ozempic a drug. It is a type of peptide, and I made a decision. I'm not going to get into the peptide discussion right now, but I'm going to record an episode all about peptides. So we're going to just break through the confusion because peptides, that word is being thrown around a lot. So we will dig into that in another episode. But when it comes to the weight loss pill that is now being marketed because it is now FDA approved and people think, oh, good, I didn't want to take the shot. So now this is great. Well, here's the thing. The side effects are very much similar. Well, let me tell you what it does. Oh, it's going to help to increase insulin. And a lot of the reasons why we're actually gaining weight in the first place, I always say the diet industry is just feeding us a whole bunch of BS. And that the BS that we really need to understand is blood sugar, behavioral science, and belief systems. And what the GLP-1 is doing is trying to mimic this hormone peptide. Again, we're going to get into peptides later, but by actually injecting ourselves and now by being able to have a pill, which is just this new trend, we're going to increase our insulin, we're going to decrease our glucagon, but it will slow down our kind of gastric emptying and then reduce our appetite. And so the diet industry has us really truly believing if we just eat less, then we are going to lose weight. And if our goal is simply losing weight, then let's just not eat, right? And so when we reduce our appetite, I understand that people will talk about food noise. Food noise is being gone, but we can absolutely work to improve our insulin resistance, to keep our blood sugar from being dysregulated, which is the root cause of why the GLP quote unquote works. And the cravings, the food noise is so overpowering that it's attractive to think that could be the case. I've seen a lot of memes, or especially around GLP-1 in general, not necessarily the pill, but GLP-1 that like they put their dog collar on their neck as a natural form of the Ozempic or Wegovy shot. And essentially that's what it is. It's like it's keeping you from wanting to nourish your body. And our body is a refuel as you go machine. It wants nourishment. So this pill is a derivative of the GLP-1. Now, obviously it hasn't been around for very long, but we do know that side effects are very similar. We do know that this daily oral version of it is entering the market now. It mimics this GLP-1 hormone and it's used to make you feel fuller, reduce your cravings and all of that, and leading to just having fewer calories, right? But people will, again, lose some weight, but it's almost like fake weight loss. It's not health. And I often say, do you want weight loss or do you want health? Because with one, you'll get nothing when it comes to long term. And with the other, you'll get both when it comes to the long term. Because the minute you stop taking this pill, you're going to go right back. And this is why the trend actually bothers me, because people are less scared to take a pill than they are to take a shot. And so the whole, you know what, I'll try it kind of thing is what I am really worried we're going to go with, instead of really truly asking ourselves, what do I want and why do I want it? If our goal and our reason is around simply weight loss, then it's often around ego. It's not typically around a heart-centered love for ourselves and our bodies and our life and our purpose. And it really falls into this category of feeling like your worth is truly set in what you look like. I know, I get it, that we are in a place right now in our world where obesity is at an all-time high and that diabetes, metabolic disease, metabolic dysfunction is just impacting more and more people. I recently saw a study that 1 in 3 teenagers are now pre-diabetic. This just feels so big and hard. And I understand why people are saying, but if I could take a pill. But if we really want to reverse this, if we really care about health versus weight, because with a 100% failure rate, if you go off of it, meaning you'll gain all the weight back plus wreak such damage on your body, I just want people, before they jump into what seems like an easy, quick fix, we've been down this road so many times. History just keeps repeating itself over and over again, looking for something that doesn't require us to actually show up for ourselves. And what kind of a truly meaningful life can we have if we are just looking for the quick fix for the reasons of ego and the belief that our value is tied on the outside of what we look like? I say this all the time, and I could get into it for so long. I just really struggle with people not digging into why they are going after what they're going after. When I talk to women who are interested in either working with my team or learning more about what I teach, that question of what do you want and why do you want it is one that actually really trips so many women up, because on paper, they will say they want to be healthy, but the behaviors don't match those words. And before you jump in to another trend, like a GLP-1, even if it's a pill, even if it feels like your doctor says you can do this, understand the pharmaceutical company is not out for your best interest. Our doctors are ill-trained at helping you to be able to truly overcome what's really going on, what's really weighing you down. It isn't that this food noise and this lack of Ozempic in your system is the problem. This is why I talk about the BS. Blood sugar stabilization and really understanding how to fuel your body in a way that balances your blood sugar is key. It's foundational. But where is all of this coming from? Our belief systems, who we were and how we were raised and what we were told doesn't go away because of a pill. It doesn't go away because of some sort of easy fix. If we don't actually dig into why we don't believe we're worthy, if we don't truly look at our behaviors in a way that helps us change aspects of our life that just also parallel why we show up in our health the way we do, like our financial health. There's so many pieces of health that need to be addressed, that can be addressed, that allow us to live a purpose-driven life. And going after this trend is never going to get you there. So I ask you, what do you want? Why do you want it? And if you really believe that if you lose weight, you will be more confident, take it from someone who lost the weight, who got strong, who was like, woo, impressed with their own body for a period of time and realized how empty she was because she never actually dealt with the things. That was me. That was my story. I was equally obsessed with my body when I lost all the weight and I got to my goal weight as I was when I wasn't. Because that's not the thing. It's like they say when somebody wins $1 million, it doesn't buy them happiness. And then a lot of people are like, just give me the $1 million and I'll let you know. Some people feel like, let me just be skinny and then I'll let you know that problem. You can get there in a way that you're super proud of, that you're empowered about, and that actually sticks and changes your life. All right, let's dig into the next trend. I get really on a soapbox around it because it isn't so much around, there's a lot around that when it comes to like just putting this kind of stuff in our body, but it's just around the why. And what do we say we really want? All right, now we're going to dig into the keto rebrand. Did you know that this was happening? It's trending right now. It's like a PR makeover of the keto, but we've been through this before. Those of you that are around my age, I'm 50. So I'm going to say, like, if you're in your 40s or 50s, you remember the Atkins diet, right? It was Atkins before it was keto. And now we're in this keto rebrand because keto's getting a bad rap. There's been lots of studies out that talk about how keto is problematic for the long term. So now we're going to we need to keep people on this roller coaster. We need to keep people coming back and believing that this is something new. And then when they believe that they have tried everything, because now this new thing comes out and we tried that and that doesn't work, then we're going to go for the weight loss drugs. And it's just a terrible cycle that we keep falling for. So let's talk about this PR masterpiece in the rebranding of keto. So it's sustained restrictive, like high fat, low carbs. It's just dressed up with new buzzwords. And it's got this like wellness halo to make it more appealing. Like, I know that for a while, healthy just meant skinny. Like people are like, I want to be healthy, but really I want to be skinny. And I think that's still obviously the case there. But again, this is why my argument of health is so important to really look at. What does it mean? What is the healthiest version of you do, say, think, and believe in every aspect of your life? It's like my definition of beauty. I remember I dated this guy that was so cute. Well, before I met my husband, and he was so cute and he was so dumb and he was not very nice. He was beautiful though. But the more I got to know him and the more I got to see what was really inside, it literally changed the way I looked at him. I'm like, whoa, I can't. And so the concept of beauty has to do with who the person is on the inside. A beautiful person becomes so much more beautiful when you understand who they are on the inside, and that beautiful, kind, caring person. So definition and the word, I feel like semantics a little bit here, but health means so much more than skinny. Come on. I know plenty of skinny, unhealthy people. And then beauty is so much more than a plastic smile. So we got to really dig into these things. But let's talk about keto, because now I'm hearing it. Listen to this. Metabolic. This is what I saw this recently. Metabolic flexibility. Sugar-free living. I've seen lots of Instagram handles like the sugar-free mom. I don't know if that was a handle, but that's the thing I'm seeing, right? And then I'm hearing clean keto, whole food keto. And we're just like rebranding all of this stuff. I need people to understand that we need carbs. Carbs are like, there's only 3 macronutrients. Food is only protein, fat, or carbs. That's it. That is it. Even vegetables, even fruit. I hear all the time, carbs and vegetables. I'm like, vegetables are carbs. Carbs give us energy. Carbs fuel our body. If there's only 3 macronutrients and the word is macro, I feel like that word means vague. Am I right? It means important. So why do we keep saying that? Like back in the 80s and early 90s, it was fat is bad. Fat is bad. And so we gave up fat. And what happened? We got even bigger and more unhealthy. Obesity started really rising. And now like the whole carb thing. We know what the problem is with carbs. Carbs spike our blood sugar. I get it. And when we spike our blood sugar, we'll hold on to fat. It's proven. That is not like anything other than science. So people don't know why they should avoid carbs. They just know they should avoid carbs because all carbs are sugar. And yes, that is true, but we also need them. So how do you balance both? We can't just get rid of carbs because we need fat. But fat can be a very calorie dense food. So if you have too much fat, yes, of course, that could be too much of a good thing, right? And so we have just literally demonized all of these macronutrients, these poor macronutrients. There's only 3. We need them all. And yes, wow, carbs spike our blood sugar, just like we don't understand what the word peptide is. We don't understand what the word gluten is. We don't understand that carbs spike our blood sugar. We just know that they're bad. And what happens when we spike our blood sugar? Our body will release insulin to try to balance it on its own because our body's like love language is balancing its blood sugar. That's what it wants. And yet when we eat carbs on its own, like you could eat an apple, which is healthy, it will spike your blood sugar. This is why people say don't eat apples. But apples are filled with nutrients. You are what you absorb. You would need these nutrients in your body. And this is why the PSC3 approach, which is my trademarked approach, it's just so crazy to me that it's actually had to be trademarked because it's so basic. PSC3. When you eat a carb, you're going to spike your blood sugar, but when you actually have a protein with it, that protein is going to keep your body from having to over-release insulin to try to balance it on its own. And that protein can allow that carb to be used for good and not evil. And then when you have a fat at the same time, it actually allows the carb and the protein to be able to absorb into your body. It helps you digest it slower. It fuels your organ and your brain. And it's just like all meant to be eaten together. But when we rebrand keto for what it really is, it's just shiny and it's got these gut health claims because we know when people are on a blood sugar roller coaster, yeah, your gut is going to completely be impacted. And here's the thing about keto. I'm wearing a continuous glucose monitor right now. I could eat keto and not spike my blood sugar. That's why keto, quote unquote, works. It's blood sugar stabilization. Nobody says it that way, but it is. But there is a massive misunderstanding about carbs. And like my clients and me, I'm doing a continuous glucose monitor right now. My clients are a continuous glucose monitor and we eat carbs with every meal. Protein, fat, and carb. And I see the data every single day of our blood sugar completely normalized and regulated. Can you imagine? I used to call it keto with carbs. And there's this emphasis and this new rebranding around brain clarity and weight loss and all of these things, but it's really causing more problems than good. So we need to recognize that. The other thing that this keto rebrand is doing is like adding some things, right? So let's have collagen and electrolytes and, we could have keto friendly like cookies for your quote unquote cheat meal. And the glucose monitor. This is the thing that drives me crazy. I will say all day long, the glucose monitor is becoming this wellness trend. And when you have this keto rebrand, it all ties together. I say all the time, nobody should have a continuous glucose monitor unless you are working with somebody that truly understands blood sugar regulation because it becomes another scale and it makes you freak out about, oh my gosh, my blood sugar is spiking. Oh my gosh, I can't have an apple. You can have an apple. I can't have popcorn. You can have popcorn. I can't have rice. You can have rice. You should. So a continuous glucose monitor is becoming to me this like wellness trend along the keto rebrand that we have to like really manage because I'm in these groups with all these people and with continuous glucose monitors that don't understand anything about it. And they just think now there are all these foods I can't have. I mean, talk about restriction. I think the continuous glucose monitor could be the most amazing thing, but too many people are jumping on it. It's part of a diet trend. And it needs to be understood that this is actually a tool that needs to be learned. Like, it's like saying I could just use a circular saw without understanding anything about how to actually use a saw and cut wood. Well, that's crazy. That's how I feel about continuous glucose monitors. So I always say, and I don't even have my clients put on a continuous glucose monitor in like a month after working with me, because they need to we need to undo a whole lot of learning. We have to unlearn tons of stuff, and we have to get through the mindset around our body and food and all the pieces. So like, okay. And the studies around keto are really interesting. Recently, a study came out around the long-term data of keto. It was never meant to be a weight loss approach, but we see people lose weight, so we must go do it regardless of health. All right. Clean girl trend. This clean girl trend sneaks up on you. You don't even know it's happening. And I think some of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, I see it now and I didn't even realize it. I want you to think about your Instagram-worthy influencers, pictures. So I was just recently in Atlanta and I was at a coffee shop, and there were these two girls in front of this old door in this little outdoor shopping area. And they had these cute little spring dresses on. It was 4,000 degrees because it's hot Atlanta in summer. And they were taking pictures, and I was like, oh, this is so Instagrammy. And my marketing director I was with, and she said, should I ask them if they want me to take her picture or their picture of them? And I said, yeah, go right ahead. So she said, do you want me to take your picture? They're like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you. And Kayla just stood there and started taking pictures, and they literally embodied the clean girls. They were so put together. They were so sweet. It was like super cute. But then like right after the pictures came out, it was like that girl didn't exist anymore. They were just like, it was like a totally different version of them when the camera stopped. It was interesting. And this clean girl is it's like this perfectionism designed as self-care. Like I woke up this way, and like the matcha craze. I don't even like matcha. I realized I bought matcha and I'm like, I don't even like it. Like, what am I doing? It just feels like it's this wellness trend, a 10-step skincare routine. We overcomplicate everything, and it's marketing. It's amazing how many things are bought and sold because of this clean girl trend. The way we brand certain products that make them look clean and they're really not. But I think the biggest thing is like this perception of effortlessness. That these people in these pictures just wake up and their bed is messy, but it just looks trendy, and they look like they don't have any makeup on, but really they have been working on that flawless looking face for like an hour before the photo shoot. It's like this, I am worthy if I can emulate this effortless look. But how many of us are like pulling our hair out behind the scenes? How many of us women are just like, oh my gosh, life is so hard. And then like we see this picture of beauty, and I don't know, maybe I'm at 50. I'm just like not falling for it so much anymore, but I know my daughters are. I know they are, because my daughter the other day asked me about brushing her body and a certain type of oil for her skin. And she literally was like, I'm having a self-care day. And she went through this whole thing, and the brushing killed me, because I was like, how did you hear about brushing? And she heard about it on Instagram, and afterwards she's, I feel like such a clean girl. She literally said that. And I just thought, wow, like there's this place that's okay, good. Let's teach our kids to be healthy and take care of themselves, of course. But again, it's all the reasons why. Like I then saw she took all these pictures of herself with this quote unquote effortless moment in time. It took her 3 hours. 3 hours out of her life because she was trying to emulate this like trend. And it's about Mel Robbins said it so well in her book, The Let Them Theory. She talked about comparison. I say all the time, comparison is a thief of all joy, whether you compare yourself to your younger years or you compare yourself to somebody else. I was just actually at a conference and I saw this woman with the best legs ever. And I just kept like thinking about my legs. I'm like, oh, I wish my legs looked like that. And then I was like, no, I don't. I know what it takes to get legs like that. And I am not willing to do that because I can be super healthy and super strong. And I don't have to have legs that look that way. That was a total ego-based vanity look like metric there for me. That is when comparison steals my joy. At 50 years old, I just had my biological age tested through function blood work, and I'm 43 at my metabolic age. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And that's the problem, like this comparison thing. And Mel Robbins says comparison can be either a teacher or a torture. And when we can use somebody's story as inspiration to either up-level our own health, our own mindsets, our own belief systems, our own like needs, great. It can be a teacher. But when we are doing it to compare ourselves and feel like we have to add up to that and that we're never enough, that becomes torture. And that's what I'm worried about with that. It's diet culture in disguise. Let's be honest. It's like the green smoothie, the glow up. It's like this belief that it's this return to clean eating, but it's about the why. What do you want and why do you want it? Is it really about that? Because do you think my daughter brushed again after that? She brushed her body? No. This wasn't about true wellness. This was about a look that she wanted to embody. And I get it. Gut health is a big one. I have a gut health supplement that I co-created with Mark McDonald, who is a New York Times best-selling author, amazing nutritionist, and a world-renowned colorectal surgeon, Dr. Anna Toker. And together we developed this gut health supplement called Zyme 7. It's incredible. But holy cow, like the influencers that are talking about this product, they're focusing so much on gut health because it's like such a trend right now. And again, I like it, but it's actually got some kind of toxic messages underneath. And because I have this product line, I'm seeing it in such a crazy way because I'm like, gut health. And then I'm like, oh, it's like a socially acceptable way to restrict calories, to restrict carbs, to promote weight loss in a very toxic way. We're monetizing this. That's a problem. Creating guilt and comparison. It's just this consumerism masquerading as wellness. Like, my daughter is a waitress. Both of my daughters are waitresses. And they both talk to me about this like $90 cream that they wanted for their faces. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Or they both have like the Stanley water cup, or is that even the one? I don't even think that's the one right now. But how many water bottles do you need? You don't need that many. It's actually ruining our environment. Let's be honest, because every time a new trendy water bottle comes out, like they have to have it. No. Lululemon, like the big names, like to be able to say you're working out, you don't need it. And it's just about the vanity of it all. So again, it's around the why. And I think that this clean girl trend, it's like we rarely talk about the mental load of life, of what we're really struggling with, emotional eating, body dysmorphia. That doesn't come out. It really, I think this clean girl aesthetic, it just replaces depth with aesthetics. And that's where my worry is around that. So it's not that it's all bad. It's like, for some, maybe it's aspirational in some ways and motivational where like comparison can be the teacher. But I just think if it becomes the new standard, we're going to reinforce these harmful narratives. It's part of diet culture. It distracts us from real, actual embodied health. So that's my thought about that. All right. Oh, do we want to know if tampons are toxic? I did an episode about toxic tampons. Actually, I think it was like episode 220. 220, I think it was. Let me see. And so that episode, I brought on the woman. Yes, it's 220. The woman who started the tampon tribe, and what she actually shared with me around toxic tampons was unbelievable. And so I have a couple of her quotes and the things that we had talked about here. And here's the thing. I ended up buying, now we only use in our house. I don't have to use this stuff anymore, but my girls only use Tampon Tribe products because of that. So, okay, is this like a trend that we should just ignore? No, really. There's a lot of validity behind it. And here's one reason I know. And there's tons of stuff. Jen and I from Tampon Tribe talked about pesticide residues, dioxins from bleaching, fragrance and synthetics. And women use, look at this quote. This was crazy when she said this to me, 11,000 tampons in a lifetime. And yet we have no idea what's in those products. In fact, my grandfather ran a plastics company and Tampax came to him to manufacture the plastic applicator. And he went way down the rabbit hole with them because it was a huge lucrative deal. And the standards, he was so appalled by the lack of some of the things that he thought that they would be asking. I just don't think my facility is the right facility to be able to do this for you. I don't know that I have the standards that are required. And he turned them down. And thinking about our vagina is actually like a mucus membrane. It absorbs even more than our skin does. So that's why vaginal hormones are actually so effective. And because there's really very little transparency or regulation, it's something really important. But one of the things that my daughter said is we ran out of pads and she had some like regular brand pad like that we got at Costco. And she put it on and she's like, I can't even wear it. I can't even wear it after she had been wearing the clean pads for so long. And it's bothering me. Her period actually got less heavy. It was crazy. So I'm going to go with the tampon toxicity as a real thing. And these other ones, keto rebranding, the clean girl wellness, and our GLP-1 pill. Let's just actually show up for ourselves in a way that truly is about health. And you know that you are when you really are honest with yourself and you say, truly, what do I want? Why do I want it? What's important to me? How can I be the healthiest version of myself so I could fulfill the purpose for as long as possible that I know I was put on this earth to fulfill?